It's official.
Oh, man. How was your week?
It's good, man. It's really good.
What'd you do?
Finished the second week of my 3-week contract project for the tech school that you are attending.
I am.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an easy project, honestly. It's been kind of nice. It's it's interesting approaching a gig like this with a whole different mindset than back when I was doing IT work back in the day, because previous version of me would have probably approached it like
Above and beyond, or
no, totally different than that, like it, because it doesn't pay very well.
sure.
It's finite and you know kind of grunt work, so it's not, it's very glamorous, and I'm
It's
very much overqualified.
it's as glamorous as you want to make it, Brett.
I mean, it's literally like moving equipment from one location to another,
Right.
And so with my experience and everything, like I could have come into this job and had very much an attitude of like, this is beneath me, or
Sure.
whatever, or looked at it like totally phone it in and not do a very good job, or any number of things, and kind of screw off and whatever. But instead,
Okay.
I don't know. I'm looking at it like this is kind of a nice, like, Zen-like experience. Like I'm showing up. I know that it's only 3 weeks,
Yeah. So
and it's not your typical IT project where I'm sitting in front of a screen, so my eyes thank me.
right.
I'm getting up, I'm moving around, I'm getting my steps in. I'm working at a tech school, which, is effectively like the equivalent of staging at a high-end restaurant or something like that. So like, everything I'm doing, I'm putting my name on this work.
Sure.
And, a lot of these kind of super short-term contract projects do end up being kind of your
Entry
working
into
interview,
right.
so to speak, for additional work down the road. And who knows, and so it's been kind of nice being able to approach it with that lens on it. And I don't know, it's been really enjoyable from that perspective. So it's been interesting to have a whole different mindset than I think I would have in my younger years. I probably would have screwed off a lot more, and
Sure.
not done very good work, and probably not been asked back.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I know the feeling. I definitely know the feeling.
but yeah, it's been good.
Good.
Other than that, just been working on some stuff for some future show ideas. I'm ordered 10 different books today.
10 books.
Yeah, all different philosophy books. So
Okay.
little teaser. I'm working on a ongoing series where I'm gonna do a bunch of different philosophies and kind of tie them in with how philosophy and recovery kind of overlap.
Okay. I like it.
Stoicism, Zen, Buddhism, a number of other philosophers
Isms.
over time as well. Yeah,
Brett's coming with all the isms, everybody.
Plato, Aristotle, Heidegger, Kierkegaard, some Viktor Frankl sprinkled in there. Maybe some Kant, and we'll get into some of the European.
You're gonna come with the nihilism at some point and be like, none of it matters in the end.
I'm workshopping one word that I really think is going to be a fun one to expand on, and I think that'll be a fun one. It's indifference.
Sure.
So I think that kind of falls into that category a little bit mistakenly. I think that the word indifferent is taken the wrong way as far as how Stoicism specifically views it.
Okay.
So
that's a pretty good segue into this week's topic, honestly. Hey, welcome to Real World Recovery, episode 6. My name is Mitchell. This is Brett.
Hello.
My week was somehow overwhelming, even though there was not a whole lot to get done. Let's see. Tuesday I took the Spanish test, Spanish 1, as those of you who are following my shorts will know. I expected that. It wasn't a letdown. Wednesday I took the day off. I did not create any content. I did not respond to I didn't check my email. I did not respond to any texts. I did not go to the gym. I went from my bed to the couch and back to my bed, and I needed that.
Yeah.
And I don't really understand like where the whatever is coming from, but like it was one of those days where mental health day, just had to completely check out, watch a bunch of stupid TV. I didn't even play video games. I just watched.
Yeah.
And I don't watch TV, so you know what it really was. It was a bunch of documentaries on, fighter jets and engineering projects, and just that's the kind of shit I turned my brain off to. So, let's see. Oh, we didn't start the timer. That's okay. So yeah, and then Thursday was, not yesterday, although it feels like it was. Thursday was pretty good. Yesterday I went over to my aunt and uncle's. I'm house sitting for them a couple days a week. And so it was one of those first nights in a new spot, sleeps. So I got no sleep last night, guys. Kind of shirked a responsibility this morning to Oxford House, but you know what?
They'll be fine.
They'll be fine. Yeah. They got to learn how to do it on their own eventually anyway.
Yeah, well, that's...
It's not like my phone won't ring. Unless I'm here recording, then my phone won't ring. So don't call me while I'm recording.
Yeah. Yeah, I set mine to do not disturb for that very reason.
Yeah. Well, I don't have voicemail, so I don't do not disturb. I definitely just turn it to silent, but yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. How do you exist with voicemail?
I don't know.
Do you check it if people leave you one?
Yeah.
Wow.
My voicemail gets turned into
text.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you delete it from that same spot?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think I still just prefer not having it. I was a contractor for so long that like I had to have it, and I had to have people be able to tell me what they needed. And I'm in a spot in my life now where it's like, if you can't text me, is it really that important?
Well, I mean, I feel like if I'm going to make myself accessible and someone is more comfortable saying what they need, then fine, I'll give you that option. But if I'm more comfortable...
But for the people out there, they couldn't see how hard that eye roll was right there.
But the point is that doesn't mean that that's how I'm necessarily going to check it.
Sure.
So with technology, like it is just as easy for my technology to say, okay, here's what they said,
Right.
and then I can read it.
I know.
And
Yeah. Always a system with you. Gotta have systems.
yeah, man. Like that's one of the books that I
My system
actually ordered.
is that you can't leave me a voicemail, so
Well,
send me a text, guys.
that's one of the books I ordered is James Clear's Atomic Habits.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite quotes comes from that book. Wait.
Let me get this straight. You have quotes?
Yeah, yeah. I got a few. It's people don't people don't meet their goals.
Mm.
They will, or they don't. When they fail, they don't fail to their goals.
Mm.
They fall back on their systems.
Right. Okay. Yeah. You've said that to me before many times. So, which is why we had such a great system at our last job.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how everyone wasn't as good at it as we were. But,
well,
it's neither here nor there.
But, I'm actually, like, for this next year, I'm omitting even setting goals for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to have any goals.
I mean, I have the goal of carrying at least a 3.9, and so that way I'll be happy with a 4.
But here's my reasoning for this. Mm-hmm. Is a goal requires something external. Like a goal is requiring something outside of my control. Like if I have a goal of like,
So it's not really a goal because I'm in control of the outcome. Is that what you're saying?
So if my goal was, if I change up what that goal is to only be things in my control, mm-hmm. then really what it is a system.
Okay.
Right? So like, if my goal is read a book a month, that's a system, right? That's something I can control.
Right. I have to read this amount of time every day in order to read a book in a month.
Or if I'm a writer, I my goal is I write X number of words or pages a month. That's something I can control. Flip that, if I were a writer and I said, I want to sell X number of copies of a book.
Oh, you can't.
You have no control over what people are going to buy.
Yeah.
But if I am focused on putting out content or being disciplined about doing the best work I can, or mm-hmm. Then that's 100% in my control.
Yeah.
The results of what it does after the work I'm doing, I have no control over that, and so
that's fun. So like my goal then is to do the best possible job on my homework and my assignments for school.
Exactly.
And then
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I like that perspective.
Yeah.
I can dig it. it.
So that's I'm shifting my mindset to not like have those goals that are dependent on anything external.
Yeah, it's a lot harder to get let down that way. There's no.
It's all on me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 100% on me then.
Yeah. Great. That's great. Pearls of wisdom.
I'm trying to by no stretch perfect at it.
I know. I see you setting up cameras before we roll. I know exactly.
Yeah. Hey,
I forgot my camera.
Little daily reminders that I'm still human.
Our goal of having 3 cameras.
Hey, we'll get there eventually.
It's okay. Yeah, it's not like there's some corporate daddy who's looking down on us, being like, "Why didn't you have 3 cameras?"
No, there sure ain't.
Yeah,
sure ain't.
Speaking of corporate daddy, I was like looking at the metrics and the analytics, and I just don't get it. And I know I said this in a short that debuted this week, but I don't get it. This stuff that does well as far as shorts content. It's like, okay, like, and it's got to be just YouTube showing people what they think people want to see, right? That's the only thing it could be. I don't know. Anyway, hey, thanks for watching our content and subscribing and liking.
Yeah.
And I see you guys. If you
Yeah.
comment, I will reply unless it's last Wednesday, in which case I will not. Mostly because it's already in the past, but yeah. I try not to look at it, but it's right there on one of my screens. So that's in my control, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure is.
It is.
Sure is. So originally I had wanted to kind of talk about, spirituality and faith this week. But then we talked about it on Thursday, like really hard. So when I was writing down the notes, like my first little bit, okay, you're kind of gonna love this actually. It says, higher power shit, right, was the title. And then it says, Mitchell explains his concept of spirituality. Brett, in an incensed manner, explains why he's wrong.
You know, I love that, but probably not why you think.
Oh, okay. Well, do tell.
So I actually was having a really good conversation with one of my coworkers the other day, and it was a really like well thought out, back and forth, and we were talking about present day, socioeconomic and political issues, and one of the topics led to
Hashtag eat the rich.
actually that is something that he had mentioned, that exact phrase, and I was like, that's not a new phrase.
No,
Like
not at all.
That's been said for a long time. Like
without the hashtag, but yeah.
But that premise even longer than that phrase. Like that idea has been around for far longer than.
I mean, it says right in the Bible that.
Yeah, and so like that's not a new idea, and he had said something about how he was having a intelligent back and forth over Thanksgiving with his family, and then was told that he was wrong. And I said to him, I'm like, well, the older I get, the less I worry about the right and wrong part of things, because what good does that do anybody?
Sure.
Like,
I mean, I always like to look at it from a morality standpoint, I guess.
Well, and here's the thing, though, is at the end of the day, when I'm having a conversation with somebody, even if we're at polar opposites of most things,
okay,
right? If I take a step back and think about it as objectively as I can, even if we disagree about every possible point, the big, huge picture, zoomed out as far as we can get lens, ultimately we're probably trying to get to the same goal. We probably want less crime. We probably want people to be safer. We probably want people to be healthier. We probably want our children to have better futures than we had. We probably want, a healthier planet. Like, all of, like, big picture things, right? Like, we just disagree on how to get there.
Okay.
Right? So when I look at it like that, then the right and wrong part of it, there's a near zero chance that either of us are 100% right. So all I need is to find that like 1 or 2% where I'm right, and get that from them, and have them acknowledge that piece. You know, give them the rest. It doesn't matter, like, because then we've got a little bit of give and take. We've got then I've got some sort of like rapport that I have built, you know, and there's not that friction and butting heads, and now we can have a conversation. And so like the I'm more right than you doesn't matter. Like,
See, I see how that like worked all the way around now. So, and how you're relating it to like what
yeah,
what I laid out. I just, honestly, I just thought it was funny because of how, our higher power conversations tend to go.
yeah,
Because here's the thing. When it comes to, spirituality, everybody themselves is correct, and you can't tell them otherwise. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not, and I'm not just relating this to like Christians in our country, but everybody's own personal whatever they're doing in their head is their own, and you can't, no matter how much you like passionately like argue or try to persuade, like, you aren't changing anybody's mind on what they know to be true. And I guess where I have a hard time with it is I just still don't know what I believe is true. And that's the frustrating part for me, because like the whole Sky Daddy thing, man, it's gross to me.
and that's fine.
Yeah.
So, are you familiar with who the Buddhist Thich Nhat Hanh was?
I believe so.
Pretty famous Buddhist teacher.
I think I have the book in my car.
Yeah. There was
It might be on my desk now.
There was a story that I heard, and I may have all the details wrong on this, but the underlying takeaway at the end is what matters. But I believe the way it went was he was taking one of his students to meet this hermit Buddhist that he knew, who lived out in the middle of nowhere, that had been practicing Buddhism his entire life, and lived out in the middle of nowhere, and was like 80 something years old, right? So spent his entire life off grid, out in the middle of nowhere, no real contact from anybody, lived his entire life as a Buddhist. And so Thich Nhat Hanh is bringing this student of his to go meet this ancient Buddhist
hermit dude,
and they get out there, and after hanging out, meeting them, and talking for a bit.
Do you think they drank tea?
I mean, probably.
That part of the world
seems reasonable.
Yeah.
And
I just had to know what you thought.
I mean, probably more likely than whiskey.
Yeah, well, definitely. Yeah.
The student, out of curiosity, asks this old Buddhist master, because all this person knew was Buddhism, said, well, have you ever considered like the teachings of like Christianity or anything like that? And this Buddhist master, he stopped and he said, no, maybe they're right. And it blew me away to think like the dedication that this person had to spend his entire life to living as a Buddhist,
Sure.
but also the detachment that it takes to say, no, maybe they're right. Like, I I don't know.
Right.
Like, and for me, that's what resonates when I talk to people getting into early recovery.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to thinking about the higher power, the God,
especially we're referring to 12 step.
When people start trying to figure that out, and like there's that barrier of like being off put by,
Mm-hmm.
having to think about what their higher power is or why the word God is used in the text so much.
Right.
For me, I'm like, that part doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
I mean, I tend to agree. Yeah.
Like, because unless you're doing all the rest of it, it's not going to matter anyway.
Right.
And so first it takes that dedication to go be the person in the woods for 80 years.
I think what frustrates me is that, I see so many people put off by that, and it becomes their focus, and it becomes the reason why they don't think that
Right.
doing the other stuff.
To use it as a non-starter.
Right. Well, and it's not just a non-starter, it's frustration. I mean, I hated 12-step. I mean, I still kind of do. I mean, says the dude who chairs NA, but it took the practice of accountability that I learned by studying in Smart Recovery that led me to the tables of NA. And like I would never have, if you would have told me, even 2 years ago that I would be
right.
chairing NA, I would have laughed in your face.
Yeah.
But it's like, once I understood the accountability aspect, and I understood all of the like the steps that don't include higher power, then that kind of slipped away and became irrelevant for me. The problem I have, I guess, is that I feel sometimes like when I'm reading the daily, and I'm like, oh man, today I'll pray to God to take away whatever. I'm like, this malarkey. I like, it frustrates me because like you know how I try to live my life, and I feel like we could just shorten it down to 9. Maybe, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be, I don't know.
Well,
I'm losing my train of thought because it's like I want to be so frustrated at that part of it. And the thing about it is, and the reason I wanted to bring it up here is because I know I'm not alone.
Sure. I feel like it's a bit of a slippery slope from
to start cutting out steps. Yeah.
Well,
probably.
I mean, even before that, but to even start like tweaking the wording of that, right? Like, so, and here's what I mean is asking a higher power to remove those defects, or asking a higher power, or giving credit to a higher power for something.
Mm-hmm.
When we start trying to reframe that as, but I did that.
Well,
We
yeah,
start to go into a
it
slippery slope of
takes
self-centeredness.
it takes away the accountability
It starts
aspect,
to, it doesn't. Accountability is different than wanting recognition. Accountability is different than just doing the work for the sake of doing the work. Doing the work because you want the reward or the recognition is saying, hey, look at me, look how great I am.
Well, okay.
Like,
that's fair, but like how is it if I have allowed all of that credit to go to a higher power, then I can take any pride in what I have done for myself?
pride is different than wanting someone else to recognize it.
Well, what if
you can be proud of yourself without needing someone else to...
But again, it like that goes back to the fact that there's constantly two people talking to each other in my head. Okay, how do I if none of the stuff that I did personally, I can show myself that I did those things, then how am I able to feel pride in it? Do you know what I mean?
Why do you need anyone else to know?
I need the other voice in my head to know.
That's different than someone else.
It's not though, because I'm talking about like how it makes me feel. Like I don't really care how anybody sees my recovery because I know what it means to me and I know that the work that I've done. But I feel like I'm discounting myself if I'm saying that, oh, this is because of a higher power.
Then it sounds to me like there still isn't a good definition for you of what something greater than yourself looks like. Because it's still just about you. Like, that's where I would say, like, the disconnect is.
Sure.
Because the work and being proud of what you've done is all well and good because the results are there. The giving credit for the ability to do that work wasn't just you. There's more than just you that was involved in being able to do that work.
I mean, that's fair.
And so that's where giving credit to that greater than you belongs.
Right.
I'm proud of my contributions and my achievements and my progress.
Well, I mean, there's no way I couldn't have gotten to where I have without community.
Exactly.
But, like, then is the community the higher power?
Sure.
I mean, like, but that doesn't make sense to me.
It's bigger than you.
I mean, sure.
Like,
sure, but it doesn't know what it's doing either.
It doesn't need to.
Yeah, but
the universe is chaos.
Everything says, you know, like, not everything, but like lots of things say it's like, oh, well, you have to, trust that the power greater than yourself is going to take this shit away for you. And it's not. Like, if I didn't go to therapy, if I didn't work on all this stuff, then it wouldn't have happened just by wishing it would happen.
No. Wishing one hand and take a deuce in the other and see which one fills up first. We're not talking about wishing. We're talking about placing your trust in the fact that doing these things that you need to do, just trust the fact that this bigger picture
I mean, I get that, but I don't see where there's room for God in there.
We're not talking about God.
Okay, well, higher power. I
Right.
don't, whatever.
Right. We're talking about this.
And this is exactly what I meant, guys.
So I feel like there's a intentional pushback here, because it sounds to me like you know what I'm saying.
I do. I understand what you're saying, but I can't conflate the concept
Can't or won't.
Can't. Like, it doesn't make sense to me that there's any sort of like actual will. Like how it
There doesn't need to be. Like there's not some like
I'll turn my life over to God's will, really.
there's not some dude sitting at a like
I mean, let's hope not.
architect table drawing up detailed blueprints.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's way too literal. Like we're talking about conceptually, like
Okay, so when you
it's
get
letting go.
When you get to that reading,
It's very simply letting go of things you don't control.
right.
It's
Is that why you're a Stoic?
yes.
So what does God mean to you in that context?
In that context, I mean the collection of all of the things that I don't have control over. It's the sum total of everything outside of my control.
And I've never heard you say that.
It has to be.
I guess I've never asked you directly like that before, though, either.
Like, I mean, it's all that was and everything that's going to be that's outside of my immediate control.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only thing that I know for sure that is me and in my control is exactly that. Everything else, it could be a simulation. I don't know. I don't
This
have...
is a really, really crappy simulation.
By your assessment.
I mean, yeah. But, I'm...
that is one opinion.
Yeah.
And I would challenge that that's maybe pretty short-sighted, because I think that there's a lot of good things in your life. And so I think that you're telling yourself it's crappy, even though you probably have it pretty good.
It was just really hard to get here.
Well, let me put it like this.
Oh.
Martial artists, boxers, MMA fighters, any kind of high-end athletes.
Why were they all fighters first, though?
Because when they choose to practice and they pick sparring partners, do they pick weak ones or novices?
They pick the most likely person to kick their ass.
Right. They pick very talented sparring partners.
Because otherwise you're not going to
When we go through life and we face difficult challenges,
mm-hmm.
those are talented sparring partners.
Yeah.
And we come out ahead every time.
Is that why you and I hang out so much?
I mean... But I look at challenges, or I try to, like everything that I've overcome, like
mm-hmm.
I'm still standing. I'm still, nothing's kept me down yet.
So
like,
when you come across like the reading I was specifically talking about, like how do you frame that when you're like, okay, how do you apply that to how you feel about your life?
I mean, like I look at my life like it very simple. Like every day I wake up, it's a brand new day. Like, it's maybe it's going to be
maybe it's
easy.
going to be
maybe it's not
raining ice later.
But
sounds like fun.
And Okay, we'll go with the weather analogy. Like,
I
here's
have zero control over that.
here's a great question though. When somebody is asked, "What's your favorite?" Like, what's your favorite kind of weather? Like, is it, if somebody asks,
Mild and raining.
okay,
So like 68 degrees.
I heard a
like
great answer.
light rain.
I heard a great answer to this. Somebody said, "I just dressed for the weather." And that to me is the epitome of indifferent.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I don't like the weather. It's literally like, oh, this is fine. Like it's not I don't care. It's not I hate everything. It's oh, this is good. I like this.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is also resilience. Like the more resilient you are means the more adaptable you are. And so just dressing for the weather. Like that's why I like that word indifferent, and that's what the Stoics look at as far as everything that's not in their control.
Mm-hmm.
They call it indifference. And
So is God indifference?
it would be so not indifference ence. It falls under the plural version of an indifferent.
Mm-hmm.
So
Kind of.
yeah,
Because I mean, like the reality of it is like it's indifferent to the outcome because it's based on what you put into it.
The misconception I think is that there's some conscious decision of like this person's going to die of cancer. No, there wasn't a decision being made. It like they got cancer. Like they died. Nobody decided they were going to like that didn't happen because they pissed off a deity.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just happened. Like how things go.
Right. Well, and I think that's
a tree got struck by lightning. Like,
they
like,
do that.
Yeah, like I mean, take the people out of the equation. Like, there was a landslide. Like, a boulder fell down and crushed a tree. Like, whatever. Like,
I meant to make you watch that episode of Star Talk before we started this today, because I've been watching Neil deGrasse Tyson, and if you ever watch this, hey man, shout out to you. I've been watching him make the argument that there is no free will, and it's very eloquent. And I feel like you spoke about this a little bit on Thursday, where it was like, in order for us to be where we are right now, sitting in this room together recording a podcast, like there have been an almost near infinite amount of circumstances that have gone in this direction in order to put us here right now. And so on a quantum mechanical level, because everything's uncertain and everything either is or isn't, or is all things all at once, it's almost impossible for this to be the outcome of the universe thus far, which is just factually correct. And so if that's the case, then there's no such thing as free will, because all of these things have already happened to put us in the position that we are. Do you know what I mean? And so the decisions we made yesterday are going to put us wherever we are tomorrow.
But you use the word decision.
Right, but is it a decision? Because when we had gotten there, we had gotten there from all the other, I don't know. It bakes my noodle, man. Because I think inherently in all of us, we want to feel like we're in control of, where we're going and what we're doing.
I mean, I guess it's going to depend on like to what scope you're talking about. Like, do I have the ability to move objects with my mind? No.
Allegedly.
Like, there's limits.
Sure.
Like, I can't just decide to like fly.
I mean, I've heard that flying is pretty easy. You just throw yourself at the ground as hard as you can and miss.
Yeah, that's the idea. You know, but
next time I'll bring my towel.
Yeah, do that. But you know, I mean, next time we get our PhD in astrophysics and quantum mechanics, we'll hop into that and pick up on, you know, Neil deGrasse Tyson's discussions on free will and.
It's just interesting because he's had a lot of people on who argue that there is free will because you can make decisions.
Sure, and I mean from that lens, like I'm sure that if we really dove into that deep of a, you know, metaphysics level, if we had that kind of understanding of it, we could maybe like speak to it on that level. But from our understanding, I feel like our narrow scope as far as what we know, like the decisions that I make are in my control.
Right.
The way I react to things are in my control. So, like, I don't feel any need to overcomplicate it or waste my time trying to, like, wax intellectual about something I don't understand.
Okay.
You know? Like, that I think is the degree to which, you know, quantum mechanics comes into play in my daily life is...
Right.
Like, you know... And until I've got that level of education on the matter, like I don't really have much to say about it.
So like, I know lately you've been saying the love fate, amor fati, as you like to say. So in that context, are you leaving room for free will there, or is that
I mean, you have to, because
is it really fate if you're in control though?
Well, I'm so it's a fool's errand to not like think about the future as well.
Yeah.
Like, and we talked about this during the previous episode about fear and anxiety. And, you know, if you just blindly, like, let everything surprise you, then...
It's going to be rough.
Yeah. So...
Like, really, really rough.
And that is where, you know... thinking about things and you know a healthy sense of worry and a healthy amount of fear, I think is necessary, you know. But
so then is it more about accepting the outcome no matter what the outcome is? Yeah,
absolutely. You know, that's the big takeaway there is you know, that's the core principle of it is, you know, that's whatever hand is dealt, that's, you know, what was going to happen, like
Okay.
that is outside of your control. Like I did the things that I had control over, which was think about, okay, here are what I think are the possible outcomes. Here are the things I can do to prepare.
Right.
And not let emotion make me irrational. And you know if it's, say, something where it's prudent to maybe have some savings ahead of time for something, and then something does happen, oh, I have some savings. Like, that is why I had this. Okay, well, there we go.
Right.
But that's really all that you can do. And a step further is, when those things happen, you can really get to a point where it's like you're actually thankful, and seeing that as, that's what I was hoping was going to happen. And
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's like the ideal situation. Is like
right.
that's what I wanted. I think that it's really hard in any given moment to be like, that's what I wanted, but it's pretty it's pretty easy once you've been removed from a situation for a while to see the benefits of not being in that situation
Right.
anymore.
One, like I had mentioned maybe a couple of episodes ago, but where it's like, in hindsight, we look back and say, oh, this thing that in the moment felt like such a disaster, like it was such bad luck, or it felt so traumatic or whatever, but because of that, all of these things happened, and now I'm in such a better place. Like, I'm actually really happy that happened. What if it didn't take me years
I mean,
to have
yeah,
such a positive feeling about that moment?
that event.
What if in that moment I could embrace that as a positive thing? How much more of a springboard it could be.
So, is free will controlling your emotional reactions to things that you have no control over?
I mean, so I try to just allow myself to feel what I'm feeling. I try to separate action from emotion.
Right.
So emotions are healthy to feel.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't disagree.
What I'm trying to do is not tie action to emotion. And that's the challenge for me, is not.
Well, I think that's the challenge for most of us, honestly.
Well, and that could be, and I think, human beings, like, evolutionary speaking, like, what emotions are one of the things that has helped us develop as a species. Like, it's helped us create societies, as opposed to being tiny little pack mammals. And we've created society, and created deep bonds with each other, and so they serve a strong purpose.
Yeah.
From an evolutionary standpoint, but that also, I think, can get us in trouble.
I mean, mostly with ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean with the police too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yep. That too. But that's really, like, I think what I've had to kind of reprogram is, Um, I started, I started drinking and using at such an early age that I didn't really like mature emotionally. So I've spent most of my adult life as an emotional teenager. So
Yeah,
um,
I would agree with that statement, but about myself.
so like I had
Um,
I had an understanding of like the the basic, you know, umbrella categories. Like I understood anger and sad and happy,
mhm.
but the nuance underneath those, I wouldn't be able to pinpoint anything underneath those. Like,
I mean, I do.
and so that's where a lot of the work needed to happen for me. And so
Well, you can't let go of something you don't understand.
agreed.
You know what I mean?
And that's where a lot of the the difficulty in relationships came from for me, because it, it's hard to talk through things with partners and family
Everything's a fight,
when I don't understand what I'm feeling.
right?
And so if I don't understand it, how am I going to put anything into words other than yell or shut down?
Right. Well, I had an instance a couple days ago where I don't know. I got a random like phone call and email, and so I texted the person involved, and I'm like, hey, what's up? And they immediately jumped into like super defensive. I'm like, whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
like you like just tell me what's up, man. I don't need the story. I don't care. I don't care about any of that. Just tell me what the outcome is, and I'm good. Like, you know what I mean? Um, but that took years.
Yep.
I mean, 3 years ago, I would have been immediately emotionally involved in it and been like, "Oh my god, you have to tell me what happened! Oh my god!" And
Right.
it was just like, "Whoa!" And it was funny to me to see that reaction um, and recognize it for what it was, and that's what it was, the immediate level
Yep.
10
Yep.
reaction. And that situation definitely did not require a level 10 reaction.
Yeah.
It required a, oh yeah, this is when that happened. And I would have been like, okay,
Right.
perfect.
Yep.
That's all I need.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're watching this, let that be a lesson to you. I doubt it.
Yeah.
You never know.
Never know.
Oh, big stretch.
Nice.
I know.
How'd that feel?
It felt good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt good. I love it. This has been a good conversation.
Yeah.
I think that understand with on the stoicism stuff. I'm not necessarily pushing back against you, because I understand how you feel, but I think that in this setting, it's incumbent upon us to have them hear what you have to say about it, because I mean, I hear about it all the time, and I fundamentally agree with all of that because it goes into my meditation and all that. And really my beef is with the G word, and I'm glad that you found a way to find peace with that.
Yeah.
But
Well,
and maybe one day I'll accept it for what it is.
well,
But I absolutely love the perspective that it's everything that's outside of your control. And I was talking to Russ yesterday, interview coming tomorrow, guys. And he said, look, man, because I ask everybody this, and not because I want to be an anti God prick. It's because I honestly want to know what everybody thinks. Because it's like one of the few things that I still don't know what I think. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so Russ was like, look, man, to me, a power greater than yourself, like right now, you and I are talking. Us together is a higher power than us sitting alone and talking to ourselves.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I don't know why that can't satisfy whatever hole it is I'm trying to fill. I don't know why when I'm reflecting every day, I can't find whatever it is that belongs there. Um, Maybe, and I hope one day I can. I really do. Because I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Every day I ask myself, why, God, why?
Yeah.
Are you not present in my life? No, I definitely don't say that. But it's like, every day it's like I'm doing a little like, what is it you really believe check? You know what I mean? And I believe that as long as I keep doing the right thing and I keep working on myself, then it will keep feeling more satisfactory, if you will.
Yeah, man. Well, there's a there's a little Zen cone. So a cone is just Koan, and they're just short, not even long enough to be called a parable. They're just little quips or whatever you want to equate it to. But um, there's one that says, before studying Zen, men are men and mountains are mountains. While studying Zen, everything becomes confused. After studying Zen, men are men and mountains are mountains. And so that's it's
That's funny because it's true.
it is. And I mean and it's true because like it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like,
My brother's
but
video
then
game
it
tag
makes
was
sense.
Zen Master forever.
But then it makes sense, and it's like, oh, it's just mountains and men. Like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But
My brother is
but
pretty
it's
Zen
a
though.
little bit different. Like, you know, um, and then there was I don't know if I've told you this one. There was a story about uh, a Buddhist monk that was very famous, and people would go visit him all the time. Had a little house up in a.
Did it have a gift shop?
Probably not, but it had he had
He's
a
missing out on
little house up on top of
massive
a
opportunity.
on top of a hill, and people would have to climb up and go visit, and you know, everybody'd go up there and visit, and he'd have heads of state, and everybody would come up and visit all the time to bring him gifts and stuff, and this very like important governor or somebody came to visit one time and brought him this really ornate teapot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And,
now I know where we're going.
And it was just absolutely like priceless and beautiful, expensive jewels and everything on it, and brought it up and thought it was going to be just a showpiece, right?
Sure.
And immediately the monk used it and made tea and served tea out of it. But as soon as he got it, he said to himself, the teapot's already broken.
Yeah.
And
is this the same monk from the story at the beginning
it's not.
of this episode?
It's a different one.
Okay. I'm just trying to, in my head.
No.
Now I have to picture a different monk.
Yeah, it's different.
I was
But yeah,
making sure.
for many years, that was the teapot he would use to serve tea to every guest that came to visit. And then finally one day, it got bumped and fell off of the table, and it broke on the floor, and the monk just said, "Of course," and
Yeah.
Just it's already broken in his mind. Like, got to enjoy it while he had it, and it was beautiful, and shared it with everybody, but as soon as he had it in his mind, it was already broken. And You know, it's that.
So the lesson there is to appreciate things while you have it.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It wasn't his to possess.
Right. It was there to appreciate. And
Yeah.
was,
Actually, I saw somebody on Facebook earlier was going on a rant, but they said that in their post where it was like there's a difference between appreciation and possession, where it's like when you appreciate something, there's no need to possess it. You don't need to own it.
Yeah.
Because you're just happy that it's there. Whereas if you like possess something, you become very protective and jealous.
And I bring it up because I think it's a lot like the idea of like trying to fixate on solving this problem of like instead of like trying to solve the idea of this like what is God to me, like instead of focusing on solving that problem, appreciate being on the journey of figuring it out. Like if I were to give you one piece of advice,
right?
Instead,
well, I want to not feel like a hypocrite.
Well, just
because sometimes
just
I do.
a slight change from the goal of solving the problem to the appreciation of being on the journey of finding it. Right? Like that, just the system, just, you know, of spending a little time every day trying to figure it out and appreciating that you've got the time to do so, and you know, instead of like I have to figure this out, and when you don't, you're disappointed. Instead, I was able to spend some time on this, and that feels good.
Beautiful.
You know,
I don't know that I will, but I love that you want that for me.
maybe just something to try.
I appreciate that you want that for me. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah. I mean, it went about as expected, so
Yeah.
you know. But it was good. It's good content.
Yeah, man. I dig it.
Yeah.
You know, Seneca used to.
At this point, I probably do.
Seneca used to every night when he would put his kids in bed, he would tell himself that his would prepare himself for his child dying.
Seems a bit excessive.
Because then every morning, when it didn't happen, he appreciated another day with his child.
I mean, back then, children did just die. So,
True.
I mean, that's a thing.
True, but like it was again that like reframing that idea of like the possession of like I'm entitled to this time, and it was appreciating the time that he had with his child. And yeah. And
I mean, children die nowadays too.
They do. We all do. We haven't figured out how not to do that yet.
I mean, have you seen David Rothschild, or not Rothschild, banker guy? Yeah, David Rothschild's like 104 too.
I mean,
the head of Chase Manhattan. What was his name? I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. Did he finally die? He's like on his 4th or 5th heart. I don't know.
I don't know.
Money will buy you pretty close to infinity. And, you know, I think that with what we've learned about gene editing, you know, we might actually be the last generation that has to die. I mean, my children probably still will because they won't have enough money to live for hundreds of years. But, I mean...
You never know.
Yeah,
You watching my Friday episodes?
We could eat the rich. I have not watched your episode from yesterday. I was stupid busy.
There's a piece in there that I know that you would appreciate, the charitable giving. You should be getting receipts for all those clothes you're donating.
Yeah, I'm not.
You should.
Well, it's probably too late. Huh?
No, you can literally just tell them what you think your fair market value is for all the clothes you donated. They'll write you a receipt, and then you get
for the past year.
And you can get a tax deduction, lower your taxable income for the year.
I think a big part of the reason I do that is because I still feel guilty for all the clothes that I took from Bear River.
But charitable giving is one of my favorite things, man. It's one of the few ways where actually like helping other people and helping your community also helps you.
Yeah.
In a very measurable way.
I probably won't.
You should. It doesn't hurt them in any way.
I mean,
it's not like it comes out of their pocket. They're a nonprofit.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
they just say, yeah, we got a donation. Here's what they just write a receipt for you.
I think Tellurian's for profit, but I don't know.
Well, if they are, then it wouldn't matter. But
yeah, it doesn't affect the.
But yeah, if it's a nonprofit, they can write your receipt.
I mean, I guess I'll look into that.
Yeah, do it.
I mean, maybe.
Do it.
I got an email today. I got to fill out my FAFSA for next year already. I'm like, I haven't even got my tax forms.
Yeah.
Like, oh, man. Well, it's 0 until they prove otherwise, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can log into ADP and get it estimated.
Yeah, I could.
You can see what your estimated was.
Yeah.
You won't. I don't think you got a bonus yet coming for November, so.
No, I sure don't.
I do.
Nope, I sure don't. Yeah, I mean, because screw them.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you.
They broke it, and I didn't.
I don't blame you.
I'm not gonna help them.
They're still breaking it. It's funny.
I haven't talked to anybody, but I suppose I could.
I got a message. I got a text from Kaylee that was really nice. She said, happy holidays. Thanks for making it so that I could work from home. I thought that was really a nice little message I got from her. So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad she's
yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. So nobody else quit?
Brad did, I think.
Yeah. Well, Brad wasn't good. I mean,
he was fine. Like he made bonus every month. Like he just had his style. Like.
Right, but I don't think Brad could survive outside of that system, I guess is my...
Who knows?
Yeah, anyway. Probably doesn't matter.
Hey, man. Like...
How did we get there? Kaylee, thank you for recognizing Brett. I appreciate you. You were my favorite coworker. No, I can't pick favorites. Everybody was my favorite.
We had an awesome team.
It was a good team.
It was
a good team.
Yeah.
So I have the interview coming out tomorrow.
Yep.
With Russ, and I botched the audio, and Brett said that perhaps we should watermark all of our videos and have it say. If the audio is perfect, this is probably illegally generated AI content.
Yeah, somebody
is stealing our content and remastering it.
Yeah, somebody's making a fake video if the audio is good.
I did my best. I mean, I'll do better tomorrow. I'm recording another interview tomorrow, so I will get back to that 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, having an interview coming out, hopefully.
And actually, you know what? That reminds me. Like, if you guys want to participate,
Yeah.
send us a message. Like, you know,
100%.
Mitchell is kind of our point person for doing interviews here.
Yeah, if you want to just come and tell your story, I
Yeah.
mean,
Hit us up.
It
Send
doesn't.
a message.
It's very casual when I interview people. There's lots of long pauses and awkward moments where I forget what I was about to say.
Yeah.
So it's basically like kind of like it's like just yeah, you're just talking to me.
Or, I mean, if you got
It's really not
any
that bad.
thoughts on, you know, different
Topics you want us to
topics,
cover.
format, let us know.
I love it
We want to.
when people are like,
do-
"Hey, you should cover this." I mean, that's kind of how I got to this week. Was I just kept feeling a way about readings, and then I knew that was going to come up on Thursday, on Tuesday, because I'm like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's actually kind of perfect, because I mean, it's not like you and I are that far off.
No.
I just struggle with the definition, and that's on me, really, and
Yeah.
you know that. But it's yeah, and I knew it would be a good conversation because people feel all sorts of different ways about that stuff, and you know, and I guess for me, you know, it's always been like super frustrating. Like I said Thursday, where it's like, even for me personally, I was so hung up on that I hate to see people who deserve to give themselves a chance, like, not because of that. And I think for me personally, like, I try to steer those people towards smart recovery a bit, because I mean, it's evidence based, just like the 12 steps. It's real psychological warfare against yourself with the tools to win that war. And you know, I think that you find that when you're living your life according to the way that feels morally correct, once you've done that sort of work, then 12 step isn't so bad, because you realize that you inadvertently did most of the steps anyway. So
Yep.
which is how I got to where I am. I just, you know, I guess the reason I keep bringing up the God thing is because I don't want to feel like a hypocrite when I'm sharing. I know.
Man,
It's in my head. I know.
there's hundreds of ways up the mountain. They all lead to the same place.
Mm-hmm.
The only one doing it wrong is the one running around the bottom telling everyone else they're going the wrong way.
Does the dude up there have a teapot?
Not anymore.
I hear his neighbor built a gift shop.
Yeah, it sells teapots.
And perfect. Because I mean, come on, where are we even?
Yep.
Okay. What do you have coming up this week?
Last week on this contract job, so then so I'll be able to hopefully get back to doing live streams after one more recorded version of the financial episode. I got Christmas back at my dad's
Is it
place.
Christmas already?
Well, Saturday we're doing it. It's the weekend before.
Oh, okay.
So
are we gonna record this on a Friday, or?
I mean, it's Saturday night. We're going back, so you know we can. Probably,
are they local?
About
Local
an hour
enough.
and a
Okay,
half
yeah.
ish away. So we're going Saturday night, and then staying overnight probably at my grandma's because that'll make her feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So
Gotta give Grandma the warm and fuzzies.
yeah, man, she's like 93 or 94.
Lord have mercy.
She's an awesome woman, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So spend the night there, and then
I feel like if you make it into your 90s and you're not awesome, what are you even doing?
dude, no kidding. She's like still lives by herself. She's at her house and gardens and like she's
I
gonna,
mean, that's
she's gonna outlive all of us, man. She's
you know, I've heard that said about a lot of people, and they're all dead now.
hey, I
But you know,
I don't see that coming anytime soon with her. She's like still kicking. She's going strong, man. So
yeah, you never do.
yeah, I mean, but but yeah, so we got that. And then yeah, that's pretty much my week. I got I got a interview coming up on Wednesday
For
a pretty exciting potential job with the state. So more on that potentially, but that could be.
Is that going to be like a 9 to 5?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that going to be here in Madison, or is it going to be remote?
Be here in Madison.
Oh man,
But,
get to go hang out at the Capitol.
Yep. Yep. I don't know how much of it'd be at the Capitol, but it's with the Department of Administration.
Oh, okay. So you're going to be at like one of these buildings right over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Working with the.
In a windowless office.
No. It's
I just picture it like that scene from The Matrix.
be a pretty sweet gig. So if I get it, so we'll see what happens. But yeah,
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to Michigan.
Nice.
I'm surprising my daughter.
Nice.
Yeah. I know she won't watch this, so. Unless you are, in which case I'll see you Monday, Darcy. She's got it's the school Christmas concert or something like that, and so yeah, my mom and I are gonna go stay at my dad's, so that's gonna be interesting. Also, riding in a car with her is gonna be interesting. I mean, it's not being around her. It's like I feel like when I'm in a car on the freeway, I prefer to be in control.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And so I don't want to like the whole time be like, because
Right.
she's driving.
Yep.
You know. But I mean, generally speaking, she lets
I
me.
get that.
She
Yeah,
lets
I
me
get that way
drive
when
anyway.
anybody besides me is driving.
Yeah.
It could be a
I mean,
professional driver.
yeah.
Like
100%. Like I don't know. When I'm in an Uber, I don't care.
even then.
I don't know. Maybe if I went and sat in the far back seat, because it's like a minivan kind of. Well, it's not a minivan. It's a Subaru Ascent. So like if I went back in the third row, you know, and just like.
That sounds like
Played video games.
That sounds like a name they should have reserved and waited on until they created a flying car.
I mean, they could still use it. Well, what if? Yeah, I don't know. I was like, they could call it the Descent, or Decent, because I mean, it's not great, but it's decent.
Yeah,
I don't know about the CVT, man. I don't. I was like, ooh, you bought a CVT, because I mean, CVTs are kind of, you know.
Did you hear you can buy a Hyundai on Amazon now?
I mean, of course you can.
They were like, we want to be able to sell cars on Amazon. Not good cars, but...
I mean, everything on Amazon is from Korea and a little crappy. I mean, can you buy that Chinese electric car on there yet?
I don't know.
Because I heard that they were like either trying to get the Chinese electric car or the Indian one, because India has an electric car now too, which they're trying to like they already don't produce enough electricity in either one of those countries, and then I don't know, whatever. We're gonna have to figure it out because the planet's not getting any colder. Instead of snowing today, it's gonna be rain right on the edge, so probably freezing rain as it gets colder into the night. Yeah. What am I doing this week besides that? I don't know. Probably putting out a whole ton of shorts because I've really found that I enjoy the creativity that creating shorts lends me.
Yeah.
And figuring out how to use Kdenlive in a way that is conducive to the 4x3 format is fun.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat.
Yeah, they've been good.
Yeah, that last one from yesterday though was pretty good. Right?
Yeah, they've been fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, did you notice how all week long it got progressively more intricate?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. It's fun. It brings out like the DJ in me kind of, where it's like, okay, how can I mix this together in an interesting and fun way?
Yeah. Yeah, and then hopefully we'll get to figuring out pulling the audio, and we'll start to
actually have a podcast on RSS. Yeah.
Get it to the point where we can just have the audio as a podcast. So
I mean, I think
people
that
can just download it and
I think
listen.
that I can probably do that with
that'll be
the last one and this one because we have it recorded separately. So I mean that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, we'll start focusing on how to do that, and then because I think that's the next big barrier for us is YouTube's great, but
we're having our RSS feed hosted.
Having it be able to do that as well will be nice. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's where, you reach the people who aren't just our friends, and our family, which we definitely appreciate you guys. But, I think that the end goal is to help as many people as we can.
Yeah, obviously.
Yep. So
cool.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess that's it. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yeah, as always, if you found this helpful, if you liked it, toss a like and subscribe if you haven't. And
I mean, the notification bell is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll let you know.
Although I know how annoying it can be to have your phone have even more notifications, but
yeah.
But I mean, it's not like I post content twice a day.
I mean, whatever.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think down below.
Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, Discord, all of the things.
All the things. Nobody's on the Discord.
Send us an email, whatever.
It'll be a thing. Yeah. Tell me what you love. Tell me what you hate. I can handle it, and we'll do what we can. All right, everybody. Love you guys.